What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
Going big, there's this other piece, Anthony Davis. He meets with Griffin, and Shams says that Davis still wants out. Woj says they're going to continue talking. Of course, they're going to continue talking because Davis, if he really does want out, is going to continue telling David Griffin, I want out to force the hand. So it does sound like he wants to make a move. That he's really still very much targeting that. I don't know if this is anything else like shocking or earth-shattering, but to your point, you think the best scenario for Kyrie is to come back. Because of just who he is as a superstar, he's still going to want to see something, some sort of incentive. He's going to want to see a really strong play for Davis. And, the Davis deal doesn't even have to happen right now. This could definitely carry on into the regular season.
Yeah, but I think that the options for the Pelicans get fewer and fewer the longer it goes.
Yeah, it's bad for them. It's bad for them if they don't do it in July.
They got or June, really, because if you don't have the draft picks attached, then it's not as good either. So not only and you can trade your own draft picks and do that sort of thing. And ultimately, that may be what the Celtics end up doing if they do a deal, or anybody else who had a lot of picks. But you have more options if you're the Pelicans. You get your guy as opposed to, somebody else's guy that maybe you value, maybe you don't. I mean, as soon as the picks are taken by someone else, they lose value. So the Celtics picks, those 3 picks, have as much value right now or up until June 20th when the 14th pick is taken than they do at any other time. So that's less than almost 2.5 weeks from the time we're recording this. We're going to have a pretty good sense of whether or not this is going to happen with the AD and whether or not the Celtics are going to jump. And the thing I'd go back to again is every time that Steve Pat writes on this topic, he always seems to write with some certainty that the Celtics feel like they have some sort of agreement, some sort of line of communication open with the Pelicans.
Right. If Griffin can't do it, they've got the crack. Is kind of what the innuendo is there, right?
Right. But we can't. Griffin can't convince Davis.
If he can't convince him to stay, the Celtics are the dance partner. That seems to be the message.
Yep, I think so. It seems like, hey, we're going to do this deal, and that goes before. So that's Mickey Loomis. That's high-ranking people over there, or maybe it comes from Danny. But it seems like there is some certainty and some strong feeling that the Celtics have that they can pull something off there. So if that happens, if you do the deal anyway, and which I know is probably the one that scares Celtics fans the most, doing the deal and not having any assurance that Kyrie comes back.
That
may be the most likely scenario.
My bigger issue is not having any assurance that Davis comes back. Even if Kyrie doesn't, I still think this team with Davis is pretty strong. And so, I get the whole point of wanting to have Kyrie with Davis. It's stronger in terms of upper level talent, but to your point, I'm more scared about giving up assets because that's what we just talked about. Anybody would do that trade for Kyrie. It doesn't undo the work that they've laid down over the last several years if Kyrie walks. Does it make them a worse team? And do they get nothing for that asset if he doesn't come back? Yeah, absolutely. But does that undo what, the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade? Does that undo all of that work? No, it doesn't. But trading those assets that trade gave you for Davis and not signing Davis, that's the killer to me. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Well, it also goes to what the package is, right? So if you don't lose Jalen, or you don't lose the Memphis pick, or you somehow are able to keep Smart in the deal, there are ways in which you're losing the Memphis pick, which has nothing to do with the if you lose Memphis deal and you lose Tatum, it's a shot. It's a punch to the gut, but you still have key pieces returning. It's a question of how much you have to give up. If you have to give up the farm for Davis and you have no assurance, that's a problem. But my belief is that you're not going to have to give up David. You're not going to have to give up Brown. I
Well,
think
you
you're
know
going
what?
to keep Brown.
We're gonna wait. We have to wait and see.
We do, but
That's where we're at.
But the one thing I'd say is you're concerned about it, but I think we have to.
But we just don't know. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we can get Davis for basically almost as cheap as we got Kyrie, of course, no complaints here.
Well, I
I
don't
just,
think that's
I
going
just,
to happen.
I know it's not going to be that
You're going to
cheap.
lose Tatum.
I get
probably.
it. I get it. But my point is, if it's that easy of a deal for the Celtics because they've only got 1 year and no guarantee from Davis, that probably doesn't sting quite as bad. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. I really don't. And I think I know we've got this relationship, with the organization, obviously connected to David Griffin, and they helped facilitate LeBron being able to come back, with what was seemingly a minor trade for the Celtics, but it helped them get the cap space for Cleveland that they needed to be able to do that. There's a lot of connection there, which is great, but I still don't think it's going to come easy. But you and I could talk about it. We could bet on it. Celtics Stuff Live is powered by betonline.ag. It's the NBA and Stanley Cup Finals, folks. Support our podcast by making a wager on your pick by going to www.clnsmedia.com/CSL. That CSL stands for Celtics Stuff Live. www.clnsmedia.com/CSL. You're going to use promo code CLNS50, and it's going to get you 50% cash back on your first deposit after you open up your account. So definitely support us. Go wager on the Toronto Raptors, for goodness sakes. What, game one? Guess what? I'm still very much in the Golden State takes this one and 6.